Hello, guys. Thank you for joining me again today. How are you? You well? Good? Are you good?
Yes.
Thank you. So this is the second meeting that we're having, and the purpose of this meeting is we're going to be discussing Hervey Bay opportunities and threats, and then we will finish off with recommendations and a conclusion that we advise to both the council of Fraser Coast Shire and also the local suppliers, being the accommodation as the key business here. So what we want to do today is we want to establish the opportunities and threats of Hervey Bay, of which we have identified through the analysis on the area data that we've conducted, and also the data that we pulled from the survey that was conducted on the area over a year's period. We would like to indicate a number of opportunities and threats, so of which there are a number of potential problems that Hervey Bay face. And so what we need to do is we would like to recommend, strategic. We would like to recommend strategic change that will have a significant impact on the performance of this region of Queensland. So there are two key areas that we have concluded as the variables of our recommendation. Firstly, the wealthy travellers group, and secondly, the long stay travellers group. So in the next slide, we're going to uncover these potential problems, and we will look at the opportunities for Hervey Bay. So, as we can see here, wealthy travellers and long stay travellers are the two key variables in this analysis out of the three complete groups that have been kind of identified in the survey. So let's look at the threats and potential problems to start off with. So one of the really significant problems that we have assessed by looking at the graphs that we created is that luxury accommodation is not an important factor for travellers. So whilst they were the leading group out of the three groups combined, it was still quite interesting to identify and to kind of draw that only 12% of wealthy travellers surveyed indicated that they were visiting Fraser Coast or going on a holiday for luxury accommodation. So this is a significant issue because 12% is a very minor number, and when we assess the background information of the area, we're going to consider whether there is a genuine need for luxurious 5-star accommodation. So what are the opportunities that come with this? So with this threat comes along an opportunity for us to look into. So perhaps there is a need for a shift in services in the line of services that are offered, in particularly that luxury accommodations offer. So it is very clear that when we observe the survey data, that wealthy travellers want to get away from the demands of home, and they obviously want to relax and spend time with their loved ones. So an opportunity is presented to develop a wellness spa centre. And what this spa centre will focus on is meditation, relaxation, and spending quality time with loved ones in a calm environment. And so, more specifically, if accommodation suppliers at Fraser Coast open up these spa centres, regardless of whether they're luxury or even the more mid-tier accommodation suppliers, people will actually be able to spend good quality time together. And we can also, what we need to do is ensure that it is competitive in pricing, because this is one of the key things that they highlight in this survey. Despite being wealthy people, wealthy travellers, they are still looking for accommodation that is competitive in pricing, which would mean that the spa centre needs to be cost effective, and the costs are minimised for the actual consumers that are coming to kind of attend and to actually utilise the services that are on offer. So, this is highly considered by wealthy travellers. It's extremely important that we keep that in mind. With regards to pricing, there is a further opportunity for local accommodation suppliers to consider, reducing their general costs of stay. So what this will actually achieve is by bringing costs down, demand will go up, and therefore the costs will still break even, and there is still a very high chance that they'll improve financial performance. So it was indicated by wealthy travellers that were surveyed that they preferred accommodation that was competitive in price, just generally. So hence why we're saying both for the spa centre and for accommodation in general, if we can reduce costs, supply will go up, demand will go up, and therefore financial performance will increase as a result. Now let's look at the long stay travellers. What are the threats and what are the potential problems? One of the really key threats that we've indicated or that was indicated from the analysis, was that long-stay travelers prefer to select destinations that are different on each travel. So they prefer to go places that they haven't been before. So they might be in the same region, but it's going to be different accommodation. 2 hours south of Hervey Bay is Noosa Heads. Now, this is a significant threat because only 2 hours south, that's very close to what we're looking at. And so long-stay travellers are predominantly wanting to rest and relax, spend time with their family, and enjoy the weather, doing having a variety of things to do. So with Noosa Heads being so close to Hervey Bay, it is a significant threat and issue that the Fraser Coast Shire and local accommodation places need to consider. We need to really appreciate the fact that we may lose repeated consumers coming back because they want to go to somewhere different. What are the opportunities? Okay, for long-stay travellers, in order to effectively and strategically attract long-stay travellers, a competitive edge is inevitably needed to ensure the retention of new and regular travellers. So that may mean that we need to increase our line of services, and I guess by improving the line of services regularly, that would effectively target long-stay travellers. It will ultimately promote the area of Hervey Bay, because if we can improve and re-regulate a lot of the services on offer, then we will have repeated customers because of change and new things to do. So, what is our recommendation? Our key recommendations is 1, advise the Fraser Coast Shire, the government, to promote the area on billboards, marketing platforms, holiday platforms, and also to promote cheaper holidays through, advising the local accommodation suppliers to adhere to competitive pricing strategies to attract wealthy travellers. Secondly, we will advise local accommodation suppliers to extend lines of services, including opening up a wellness spa centre, which will be something that will be focused regardless of whether they're a luxury accommodation, but just more generally, accommodation suppliers opening up that service. And I guess our analysis has also uncovered that luxury accommodations are not the key differentiator between holiday stayers selecting Hervey Bay and other competitive regions such as Noosa Heads. They may want to come to visit the beach, to do things, to relax with family and friends. So luxury accommodation is not the most critical thing. So the key success that will come with opening up a wellness and spa centre is that we will effectively respond to wealthy traveller needs of getting away from the demands of home and work. So, and also that long-stay travellers want the opportunity to rest and relax. So this will effectively target the primary need of the majority of holiday stayers that are actually, the visitors that are actually coming to Hervey Bay, because their objective is to recharge and enjoy time with family. So we understood that, this is absolutely critical because, respondents have showed that, their needs are so diverse and there's no real commonality in what they are really looking for. So if we can offer a variety of things to do, a variety of activities, a safe place to be, then this is what the consumers would like. Finally, advise local accommodation suppliers to adhere to a competitive pricing strategy. This will be rolled out over a period of time, which we'll go into in a second. The timeline will be discussed in a moment. The recommendation is that we will additionally, through the advice that we provided through the Fraser Coast Shire, this will be particularly supported around the local businesses in the area. So now let's discuss the transformation that we're looking at adhering to. We've conducted an analysis and we've forecasted the financial performance changes that we expect to achieve. So in conclusion, we will recommend rolling out a 9-year transformation. In 1 year, we expect visitors to Hervey Bay to increase by 5% of a 3-month staggered implementation of pricing strategy. The local council and accommodation suppliers taking part in this implementation will gauge the 5% change. This will increase the impact this will significantly impact the total yearly Hervey Bay visitors of 940,000 people on average to approximately an increase to 987,000 people visitors. So from a financial perspective, we will see an increase of $50 million per year, resulting in an expected almost $500 million by 2026. Therefore, what we expect to see is that Hervey Bay will be dominating the tourism industry in the eastern side region, in the eastern region of Queensland, being the dominating attraction point. This will be adhered to by effectively rolling out this transformation. So, is there any questions, or all good?
All good.
All good?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.